Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. All right, as promised, we're getting into Dan Campbell and his very emotional press conference. We have the video, Adam. Would you want to show that first?
I do.
Okay, here it is.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough. You know, you don't want that for them. So, but we'll be better for it, you know. And there again, credit Minnesota, but you know, we made the one mistake that cost us, you know, and so ultimately, you know, we didn't do enough to win. But I was proud of them, and I love the fight they have in them, and I love the grit.
All right, Dan Campbell.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
A man that clearly wears his emotions on his sleeve, not afraid to show it. Let me start here. I'll start with the positives I took away from it, and feel free to intervene.
No, I'll let you get it all out.
All right, let me get my frustrations and what I'm thinking out. Dan, this is year one of a rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
All right, his post-game press conference, it took me two ways. One of like, really? Is now the time for this? But then the other side of me said, you know what? He is who he is. And this is Dan Campbell. And he's not fake. He's not acting for you. He's giving everything he is. It's all in front of you. He has nothing to hide. And I respect that. Now, do I think that it's common or it's something that translates to wins? No, I don't. But I think the takeaway from his post-game press conference should be that this is a guy who is going to wear his heart on his sleeve. His team is going to play with complete emotion. He's an emotional guy. And I think they play hard not only this year. As long as Dan Campbell's the head coach, they will play for him. But, again, I understand the emotion of it, the highs. We went for two. We had the ballsy decision. It worked. It worked. We went for two and it worked. And we still lost. Like, I get, like, man, we just want to win one. Like, I get it. But the crying, I don't know what to make of it. I'm not going to make fun of him this morning. I'm not going to take that direction. I don't think that's appropriate. But what I do think is this is who he is. This is just who he is. I don't think it's an act. I don't think it's him trying to deceive you or try and make you think another way or deflect from the fact that they're now 0-5. Like, no, this is year one of a rebuild. Half the team is on one-year contracts. You have a bum at quarterback. You're full of injuries. Your defense is completely decimated by injuries. You're going to lose games. I get he just wants the one, and I know the team was fighting. And you know what? This is the third time this year they were somewhat close in a game they shouldn't have been close in. But you know what? Just walk away from that press conference with, hey, this is a guy that's going to tell me how it is every week. And you know what? I can live with that. And whether or not he's a good coach or he ever turns out to anything in Detroit, I think is irrelevant in that case. His time will come to judge him and evaluate him as a head coach. But, you know, to be fair, you know, again, when I first saw it, I don't want to say I was angry, but I was like, really? Because I'll be honest, I don't like my head coach to only be in the topic of media in regards to his post-game and pre-game press conferences.
Well, that's what happens when you're losing. I mean, you're losing games. There's nothing else to talk about.
No, this is not common at all. This happens a lot. You know what? This happens a lot in other sports where, you know, you have this, you know, very enthusiastic leader of the team. And he deflects a lot by saying things in the media to get the attention off that the team is 0-5, that the team is, you know, not doing great. But I don't think that's Dan Campbell. I don't think he's doing it in a deceiving way. I just think that's who he is. Now, do I like it? I don't have to like it. What I can accept, though, is that it's organic, it's raw, it's real. It's not some fat guy sitting up there telling me, hey, you know, I'm responsible for one of the greatest defensive plays in Super Bowl history, even though I sent the wrong player on the field originally. But, No. This is good. Now, again, whether this translates to the Lions turning into a successful team and organization, I don't know. It's way too early to talk about that. But I don't hate it and I don't love it. And I think the people that do love it need to be very careful here. Because if you're going to ride this team based on emotion and playing hard and wearing your heart on your sleeve, there's a lot of losing that's expected to come over the next 2 years. Be very careful, because then you'll get sick and tired of Dan Campbell. Be very careful what you ask for. If it's emotion every single week, well, you know what? Try winning only 3-4 games. See where the emotion gets you. Be very careful. That's all. But no, I'm not going to kill him for being genuine and honest and, just frustrated, I'm sure, after the game, because they were, again, in a position to win and they lost. They did.
Yep.
And no one should kill them for losing. You expect them to lose as much as possible this year. Do you actually go into any game this year honestly thinking, wow, this is the day, Lions going to win big. Lions winning big today, boys. No, it's not going to happen. You maybe pick it once or twice, maybe 3 more times this year, you'll pick the Lions to win. But that's about it. It's a rebuild. And Dan, this is especially for Dan Campbell. Dan, it's a rebuild. Relax. I get it, but relax. Get the pieces and get the players that you actually want on your roster to play for you. Yep. And the wins will come. That's my 2 cents.
I mean, you hit it right on the head with a couple of things you said there. I mean, I think he was just being extremely transparent with the media, and the former player kind of came out of him. He's never been a coordinator. He was an assistant coach. He's from the Bill Parcells tree, but nonetheless, I think this is exactly what you just said. This shows who he really is. My man Steve in the chat mentioned it. I also saw this. He cried when he stepped on the practice field for the first time. So it's little stuff. Is he going to cry every single week? No, but the fact that he knows, he understands how hard these players work in practice. He understands what the media and everyone else thinks about the team and where they're at as a franchise and how much they sacrifice. And it's not about what me and Adham have to say about how this team doesn't have enough pieces to do anything in the NFL to make noise yet. But Dan doesn't hear about that. He wants to win every ball game he's in. And obviously last night you got the Ravens game, who was a field goal loss as well. And like Adham said, you finally get the 2-point conversion, and you still lose the game. And he understands how much it hurt the players in that sense. You have so many injuries already. You have a chance to get a win on the road against a 1-3 team who is playing way better than the record says. And I think it just showed how much it meant to him. Again, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's well aware that all the blame falls essentially on the coach's shoulders. I mean, he understands that. Yes, he understands that. So, and thus far, he has amongst the worst team in the NFL is the Lions. They've shown a lot of positive things, and I think with Dan Campbell showing emotion, I don't have a problem with it. I don't think it's necessarily going to be an identity that this team plays with emotion and they play hard every single week. I just think it's so early in this regime and with Dan Campbell that they don't really have. You don't know if this identity is going to stick and it's going to evolve to next year. I don't think when they have all the right pieces and they win their first couple games of the season and they lose one, Dan will start crying or break down. I think it's just the prisoner of the moment. You lose a tough game on the road in that type of situation, 55-yarder you lose to. I think it was just a situational. I don't believe personally that in a year from now we're going to be knowing this team as, they just play hard. I mean, which I think they'll play hard. Like you said, every other NFL team plays hard. I just don't think the Lions, that's going to be their identity. They're going to be...
But I don't want that to be their identity.
I don't either. So I think a lot of people are on the same page. I don't think it will be. I think the situation they're in now, we can agree mutually, probably roster-wise, worse than the NFL.
Oh, 100%.
So you have to understand where they're at. That's fighting. If they had all the talent, you wouldn't say they're fighting. They should just be winning football games and fighting no matter what. You know what
fighting I mean? is a word used. Fighting, grit, emotion. That's what happens when you're losers.
Right.
And that's what the Lions are right now. They're losers. They don't have a great roster. The roster's full of inept, untalented players, and that's just the reality. That's not a shot at anybody. That's not a shot at the coaches. That's just the reality. They don't have a good football team. So that's what you have to deal with. And let me read some of the comments in the chat so we can address some of these. Let me see. If you think players don't see a grown man crying in front of the world as someone who cares, you're tripping. Free agents see the passion, and I bet you any money they'll be here next year. Listen, man.
I don't agree.
Let me tell you how free agency works. If you're an individual player, you're trying to get the most money on the most money and the most guaranteed money possible in a contract.
100%.
Now you're willing to take less to go to, let's say, a team that's actually competing. But for a free agent, this upcoming class, to go to Detroit, coming off of 13-14 loss season, I mean, you're kind of reaching there. But again, I remember the Dick Vermeil crying scenario back, 2005, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And look, there's a difference between being an emotional guy and like frustrated that you lost. But dude, this is week five of your first official head coaching gig in the NFL, and you're already crying.
Other thing that says to it, I mean, your first gig.
This is what I mean by be careful with how emotionally invested you are. Because I can work hard, I can be emotionally invested, I could give everything I have into something, and there's still a possibility, guys, that it doesn't work out and that I don't succeed, and that's life. And Dan Campbell, I'm going to make it clear from now, and to all you Lions fans, be very careful not to get too emotionally invested in this mindset.
I agree with you.
Because I'm telling you, I can give you a million cases around the world. People, just individuals. Let's just use individuals. People that put in the work, they put in the time, the effort, always on time to work, but they don't get the promotion. The guys that do everything right. They walk the old person across the street. They never say anything mean to anybody. Somebody double crosses them. A person in a relationship gives all the effort out to beautiful restaurants, takes you out for dinner, takes you out down to the pond, you go have a nice picnic, you go to the lake, I don't know, whatever you do in a relationship. The point is, you can do everything right and be completely emotionally invested, and it still doesn't work out. Be very careful, Dan Campbell. Be very careful, Detroit Lions fans. It's very easy to get this invested and smacked across the face because, again, it was too low with Matt Patricia, right? Everybody was depressed. And now it's like way up here with Dan Campbell. Like, I like to think there's something in the middle that long-term works out better. We'll see what Dan Campbell turns out to be, but we got to head to break.